Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna talk about why didn't Voldemort go to Bellatrix or Snape when he became disembodied. Snape would be the poorest conceivable choice of Death Eater for Voldemort to seek out. He is a spy and his true loyalties are not quite certain. Going to him would, in the worst case scenario, and the most likely, result in Voldemort being confronted with Albus Dumbledore in a significantly weakened state. Even if in this AU Voldemort had Snape as a loyal servant, Severus is known to have been a Death Eater, and was cleared of all charges against his person, which realistically may extend only to being a Death Eater and no other specific crimes. But he did so because he was, or pretended to be, a double agent, not an Imperius. Snape is going to be under closer scrutiny than most other DEs, and spends more of the year than not around Dumbledore. Bellatrix managed to get herself captured and convicted very shortly after Voldemort's disembodiment of torture and freely confessed to being a willing Death Eater, lacking either the wit or the sanity to realize she would be able to serve the Dark Lord better if she weren't locked in an incredibly inhumane prison until he broke her out. So Bellatrix being useful or a viable option would be very dependent on getting to her before she went after the Longbottom family. And personally, I believe Voldemort was far too weak to move that quickly. He was hit with his own Avada Kedavra and split away another fraction of his soul. His body was completely destroyed in the aftermath. And given 10 years to recover his strength and a willing host, Voldemort remains magically weak. His limit appears to be legilimency and causing harm to his own host when it comes to magic. Take away any recovery time, and I doubt Riddle was in any fit state to reach Bellatrix before her fanatical idiocy. And past her conviction, the only Death Eaters he can turn to would be those who disavowed him, and either appeared to turn traitor, or pretended they never served him willingly. The true zealots are all in Azkaban. Those who remained free were rather more pragmatic or cowardly, depending on your point of view. Upon seeing their lord's weakness, would Lucius Malfoy risk himself and his family to aid him? Would Igor Karkaroff risk his freedom? Could Voldemort depend on any of them enough to risk himself? It is telling that none of those who were free sought out and knelt before Tom. Pettigrew did eventually, but only when his position of safety vanished. And with it took his ability to bring Harry Potter before a vengeful Voldemort, mitigating his own punishment for abandoning the Dark Lord and indirectly causing the disembodiment of Riddle. Voldemort was clever enough to realize that not all of his followers would prioritize resurrecting him over all else, but naive or foolish enough to believe some of them would. Voldemort also fled the country because Dumbledore was powerful enough to terrify him at his full power, and Voldemort was absolutely not able to face him, or even the average Auror, in his current state.